This is The Gorge. It's a podcast where my friend Sarah and I gorge ourselves on what's happening in the world of video games and entertainment.
The Gorge is brought to you by Patreon. That's patreon.com/thegorge, where for just $5 a month you gain access to not one but two entire podcasts. $5 gets you Takeout. It's been a minute since I've done this intro. Gets you Takeout, a monthly commentary track where Ben and I decide we don't feel like playing something, so we just watch something and talk over it instead. And $2 gets you a lot of stuff. You know what? It gets you all kinds of things. It gets you a veritable smorgasbord of content.
You get the $15 Chinese buffet, all you can eat of content.
But only for $2.
Only $2.
However, it is a little inconsistent, but
like the Chinese buffet.
That's correct. But it's $2, so you get a ton of stuff sometimes. That being said, that and more, it's all on patreon.com/thegorge. You can kick in however much you want, and we will appreciate it, truly.
Yeah.
So yeah, patreon.com/thegorge. It's been a minute since I've had to do this intro, so I'm like, how do I talk on recording again? I'm remembering now. It's coming back
and then
to me.
You give us the money, and we give you content of questionable quality, and then
that's correct.
We apologize for giving you this content after taking your money.
Sometimes we poison you, and you just kind of have to deal with it. Also, like the Chinese buffet.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's fine. Anyways, hey, it's another roundup. We're here to talk about just things and stuff. Stuff. The thing I would talk about, Sara and I want to do an episode about it next week. So it may be the first ever Ben-less Gorge, which would be very interesting.
We'll see.
Because we want to do an episode about Lost Belt 6.
Mm-hmm.
So, that being said, the short version is that Lost Belt 6 might be the best JRPG of the year, and it's stuck in FGO.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's really good. It's like, so a guy on RPG site, God love him, he was trying to make that same argument and like explain to people why this is the case, with the caveat that yes, you do have to play approximately 100 hours of the rest of FGO to get here. And the rest of FGO is like of varying quality. Sometimes you get really good stuff like Camelot and Babylonia and like Lost Belt 3. Sometimes you get really bad stuff like Septum and Lost Belt 2. Oops. So it's kind of like, it really is an extremely mixed bag. But at the end of it all is now Lost Belt 6, which is just incredible. Avalon LaFay is like, it's such pitch perfect JRPG writing in the form of basically a visual novel with like light JRPG stuff kind of stapled onto it, because I mean FGO is a turn-based system, so yeah, it's like your standard, in a lot of ways it's your standard JRPG, right? And like you can even see the bones of where dungeons would go and stuff if this was a real full game. I would trade a few of my limbs for a full, like,
a gotcha-less FGO.
No, I mean just like a video game version of Lost Belt 6, right?
Oh, of just Lost Belt 6.
Just Lost Belt 6, yeah.
Okay.
Like, you could turn Lost Belt 6 into a full video game, like, extremely easily, with, like, no real changes except for, like, cool towns to walk around in. But, I mean, so much of Lost Belt 6 is just, like, it's just a JRPG. There's just a cast of rotating weirdos that you hang out with. It would be the greatest Tales game ever made.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. I think, like, the problem is that, like, it's stuck super deep into FGO, and just reading it on YouTube does not really give the same experience.
Right.
Because, your reading speed may be different than the guy who puts it on YouTube, of course. And so, like, I don't know what to tell you. It's really good. You should play FGO, I guess. Fuck. just to get to like a really good piece of JRPG writing that just happens to be stuck like elbow deep into this fucking phone game. Yeah, it's amazing. It's just so like, it's about so much of the same stuff that like Abyss and Tales of Symphonia are about, which is like how much being the chosen one sucks ass, and like whether or not the Isle of Britain deserves redemption. It does not.
No, it does not. You know that.
Yeah. So just like, there's so much stuff going on. It's really good. Like, so good. And just like really surprising every step of the way. I love it.
I've gotta get caught up. And
you've got to get caught up. I know. Where are you?
I'm still in Camelot. I can't make any progress because I just haven't sat down and played the game.
Yeah.
You know? You
need to do that.
Like,
it's really good.
I do the events, and I really like the events, but then I just don't play the actual story mode.
The story mode is like where all the good shit is. It's also where like all of the free quartz and the free ascension materials and shit also live.
I know.
And you get pure prisms that way, and like the good embers. It's just like, it's worth it. I think it's super worth it because like, for one, you're in Camelot, which is when story finally gets good. Babylonia is amazing. Solomon is amazing. Lost Belt 1 is fine. Lost Belt 2 is bad. But then 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all really good. Like, that's just winners across the board, baby. I can't, after a certain point, FGO just kind of starts being unambiguously good.
Yeah.
Like Lost Belt 4 is a little slow. Lost Belt 4 has the problem where it starts extremely slow, and takes forever to get going, but once it gets going, it's just like the best shonen manga you've ever read. But like, it's still good. And it all culminates in Lost Belt 6, which is incredible.
Yeah, now that I'm going to have some more free time voluntarily for reasons I'll discuss in a bit.
That's right.
I'll just, like, on my weekends, I gotta get back to doing, like, alright, today I'm gonna play FGO like I would any other video game.
I mean, for me, when I was doing it, I would just, like, I would just go to bed and just, like, lay in bed for an hour and read a little bit of Lost Belt 6. And then, of course, the problem is that when Lost Belt 6 gets really good, I finished Lost Belt 6 and stayed up until about 3 o'clock in the morning finishing it, because once it started, I was like, I can't put this down. I can't go to bed now. I have to finish this.
Yeah, that's what I need to start doing. I just need to be like doing a little bit every day at least.
Yeah, it's good. It's on your phone. It's easy. You're just kind of chilling and bored. If you're bored at work, you can play FGO because I
can't do that. I can't. It's too much of a commitment. Like, I got to be on for work, and I can't do a mission of FGO.
Right.
It's why I like Marvel Future Fight. Is because I can crank out one of those in a minute, in like literally less than 60 seconds.
Right.
I can't do a mission in FGO in that time frame. I gotta read.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I highly recommend. It's impossible to recommend it. If you're already playing FGO, get to the good part. If you're not playing FGO, I don't know. You should. I hate to say, like, you should play this gacha game, but, like, this gacha game is really good, and I don't know. FGO is imminently playable without ever having to spend a single dollar. Like, maybe not a single dollar, because I think the GSSRs are worth it, right? But, like, that's kind of it.
But you get enough event servants that can carry you.
And I mean, not just event servants, but like the free servants in this game are really good.
Yeah.
You could play the whole game with just free servants. They take a little bit more work to make into viable units, but like they're good. So like I think the most you'd ever, if you ever like really wanted to play FGO, you know, do your GSSR, but that's it. That's like $30 a year, maybe. You pay more if you're listening to this. You almost certainly pay more for it than for like Final Fantasy 14. I pay way more for FF14 a year than I do for FGO, and they give me about the same amount of joy most of the time. So the writing in FGO is a whole hell of a lot better, extremely often. So yeah, FGO is really good. Lost Belt 6, it's great. Please look forward to next week's episode because I think Saturday and I will probably talk about it for like 5 hours. Oops, I forgot to turn my phone on silent again. No, that's kind of it. It really did just sort of eat my life for a little while there. I'm trying to think of anything else I did. No, nothing like noteworthy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also didn't do a ton of stuff because I was out of town for 2 weeks.
You're on vacation.
I was on vacation. I finally got to have a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
And that was fun. We went up north. We did, so I had 3 vacations back to back because of just how things got planned. I visited my wife's family up in the western part of the state. And that was really enjoyable. We just kind of hung out and sat by a campfire and stayed in a really nice Airbnb.
Yeah.
Came back home, immediately hung out with my friends for a weekend.
Nice.
One of my friends was in town from Florida, so we got to all hang out. And that was a lot of fun. Played Twilight Imperium again, which was enjoyable at first. And then at the 10-hour mark, we all kind of really started to tap out.
Yeah, I think if you're playing a board game for 10 hours, you don't need to be playing that board game anymore.
Yeah, we were all at the point where it's just like, I gotta fucking go home, man.
I have a family.
I looked at, so not to get into depth of how this game is played because it's a complicated game, but like, I had a path to victory.
Sure.
I looked at the cards in my hand, I looked at where I was on the map, and I looked at where I could be, and I was like, you know what? I could theoretically pull this off. I could get to 10 victory points. It's going to take an hour and a half. I'm going to throw this game.
And I want to go home, yeah. That's fair. Yeah. So.
And then after that, we immediately went back up north to see my family for a weekend. Nice. And all these events just happened to coincide at the same time. They didn't plan it back to back like this.
Sure. And it just kind of ended up you getting to be on vacation for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, it was really nice. I did sneak in a few things here and there though. Okay. I did finally finish all of Red vs. Blue.
Oh, nice.
I am completely caught up on all 17 seasons of Red vs. Blue. And it's good.
Sure. Yeah.
It turned out like it was actually really good. Even the 3 seasons, like even the post 15, 16, and 17 that people don't really are the contentious parts. I actually really enjoyed them.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah, I was very impressed with how well it kept up its energy after seemingly peaking with season 13. And yeah, I really ended up enjoying it a lot, except for parts of season 15 that were almost a little too wacky and bizarre, including the point where Tucker and Griff's sister fight a Cyclops that's played by a live action actor being green screened into a shot like that one movie. You know.
Yeah.
I was like,
know what you mean.
They didn't need that.
They didn't need that. No.
That was weird.
Yeah.
I had seen a clip of that, and I had thought it was initially from the compilation season 14, which was just a bunch of experimental, like, mini-series.
Sure.
I thought that's what it was from, but no, it's just a canon thing that happens.
It's just a thing that's actually in the plot. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. That was weird.
Yeah, that's not great.
But everything else was really good. They have a lot of... I have to wonder at what point, because this whole thing started because of an argument between the creators when they were playing Halo 1 on LAN about whether the warthog looked like a big cat or a warthog.
Yeah, this all started from the Puma argument.
Yeah.
Like, in season 1.
Yeah.
Right?
Whether the warthog actually looks like a warthog or more resembles a puma.
Right. Like, that's literally what this whole show is born out of.
And you have to wonder, at what point did they realize this wacky little fan machinima thing where the main character turns into a ghost because they wanted to write a series where the main character dies in like the 3rd episode, when it turned into a intergalactic drama, like it's a space opera at this point.
Sure, yeah, of course.
When did they decide that we're going to make that shift?
I don't know. To me, it's very funny that it made such a dramatic shift. It's kind of like Halo itself, which is like so far removed from all the Bungie references and stuff, like the marathon references and whatnot that are in like Halo 1. Like Halo as it is today is so far removed from that it is essentially like a different series altogether, for better and for worse, mostly for worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of funny that it took the same trajectory as Halo, albeit with maybe slightly better results.
Yeah, more consistent results, I would say.
Results, yeah.
Very excited to pirate season 19.
That's correct.
Yeah. Don't actually support Rooster Teeth.
No, don't actually give them money.
They're a dirtbag company.
Mm-hmm.
I also, sadly, watched the finale of The Venture Brothers.
Oh yeah, you watched the last movie.
That movie came out, and I did watch it.
Do you love it?
I adored it.
Great.
Oh my god, what a fantastic... Speaking of series that ended up becoming way more than they started.
Sure, yeah. So Adventure Brothers is like the distillation of that.
Wow. It's incredible. It's an incredible film.
Does it wrap everything up satisfactorily?
Yes.
Good.
Absolutely. Okay. You finally get some of the biggest, like the answer to the biggest questions in the thing.
Sure.
And it's literally the last line of dialogue in the thing, in the series as a whole, is the answer to the biggest question in the franchise.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
So they make you wait until the very end.
Well, I'm looking forward to eventually binging all of it, because like now that it is like completely finished, I would like to like totally tear through all of it.
Mm-hmm. And then I inched my way a bit further in FF16.
Oh yeah, we gotta have this talk.
We gotta talk about it, because you told me this morning that you're like, hey, I'm probably gonna return FF16. You know, you're planning on maybe thinking about selling your PS5.
I'm thinking of selling my PS5. Yeah. I'm definitely getting. I'm probably am selling my PS5, and I am for sure taking back FF16. Yeah, because
and my response was, whew, okay, oh, thank God.
Yeah, I before we kind of launch into yours, there is nothing I have seen from that game that like ignites anything within me. It's been out for a couple of weeks now. I've seen some spoilers on Twitter, right? I've seen like some chatter about the game. There is nothing in those spoilers that really ignites anything in me. There's nothing about the gameplay that super lights a fire in my soul, right? Like, I'm not seeing anything in FF16 that is particularly inspirational. And I'm still within my... I haven't even opened the game yet, so I'm still within the return window to just take the game back. And I can, because like the game's still in plastic wrap, so I'm going to take it back. I'm probably going to get rid of my PS5 because there's just nothing coming out. The only thing that's coming out for it is the second part of the FF7 remake, and frankly, there's a 200% chance I will have just as much fun watching somebody else play that on YouTube or watching you play it, right? Just like stream it together or something, you know? I will have just as much fun with that, right? So it's kind of sad to just kind of have to make that admission that it's like, I am not like, there's nothing on my PS5 that I super want or need.
And you
so
don't.
I'm probably gonna get rid of it.
You don't even have any PS4 games that justify the loading thing.
Because they're all. I mean, the thing is that like most of those old PS4 games that I would want to play are now on PC. And my PC has an SSD, so like there's nothing like if I want to go back and play Persona, that's on PC now. Like everything I would want to play is also on PC now. So honestly, it is worth the investment to just make my PC better than to like keep my PS5, right?
Like at this point, if it were not for Spider-Man,
yeah,
I'd probably be in the same boat.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like once Spider-Man is out and played, then who knows?
Yeah, because I'm looking at my shelf right now. There's nothing on it that I can't also just get for PS4.
Right.
Or PC.
Exactly. Or on PC. Yeah, pretty much everything is on PC, right? Like
yeah. So, but no, FF16. I just want to dump.
Sure.
What I've gotten so far. I've never played a game that made me think I was depressed. Like you know, like when you get in like the depressive mood and just like you aren't having fun trying to do things that are enjoyable to you. Like your hobbies don't interest you anymore. Like you don't feel the urge to even have fun or do something entertaining anymore.
Sure.
Like if you do, like you aren't getting anything out of it. I played 16 over the weekend. Like I tried to put some time into it, and I was playing it, and I'm like, I'm not having fun.
Yeah,
like, this isn't like what's wrong? Like, oh fuck, is something wrong? Like, what am I? Like, am I being set off by something? Like, what's going on here? And then I play like 14. Sure. And I would enjoy it.
Yeah, or you play like Zelda, and it's like, oh, I'm having a great time.
And I'd be like, oh no, I'm just not enjoying this particular video game.
Yeah, okay. It's weird. There's just like I haven't even played it, but there is nothing I have seen from it that is.
It's so
really like ooh, I need it for this, right?
The way I'd have to describe what it feels like to play 16 is that it's like so there's certain things where you have to meet the product halfway.
Sure, right? Of course.
Like, hey, these special effects aren't very good, or hey, this direction isn't really ideal, or this lore is stupid. But it's balanced out because like the rest of it is really good and entertaining, right? Sure. You know? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm willing to let that slide because the rest of it is good. 16 feels like it wants me to meet it halfway for fucking everything.
Yeah.
It's like I have to remind it that it needs to keep me engaged.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's like, no, after 16, you actually have to do something to make me care.
You have to do something more than once every like 2 hours.
Yeah.
To keep me from, make me sit up in my chair.
Right, yeah. It's just so... I don't know. I mean, I've seen some spoilers about some things, and like every spoiler I've seen is just like, well, that's nice. Yeah. I'm sure somebody likes that. Right? I'm sure it's for somebody. It's just not for me.
And it didn't really like solidify itself to me until listening to the Gigaboots talk about playing Paper Mario. And thinking about Paper Mario and how it handles its party members. Sure. And it's like, well, yeah, they're not really, they don't have stats, they don't level up with you, but they have like a whole set of supportive moves, and like they have these interactables that allow you to do different things in battle and outside of battle.
Yeah, of course.
And it's like 16 doesn't have any of that.
It's just is it just AI NPCs?
It might as well just be Clive.
Oh, really?
In the entire, like, I would like stop and I'd like look around and I'd see Jill and Sid and like they wouldn't be doing anything.
Oh.
They'd kind of do like the thing where like they kind of like pace back and forth with their weapon drawn,
right,
and like maybe throw out an attack, and like you're not setting up anything with them. You're not like
they're not like
strategizing.
Part of the gameplay.
I think about Kingdom Hearts, right? And Donald and Goofy are active. They are doing stuff. You hear them call out their attacks. You hear them Donald cast spells, right? Like they are running around the battlefield. You have special attacks you can do when you're near them. You can direct them to do certain things. Like there's interaction between you and the party, right?
Yeah, of course.
There's none of that in 16. There's nothing like that. You can't equip anything to anyone but Clive.
Right. Yeah. So you just don't even feel like you're like they're not even like an active part of the game.
Right.
You're just kind of there.
Yeah. Like I'm not assigning stat points to Jill to make her do more damage or to unlock new abilities for her. She's just there. They aren't drawing aggro for anything.
Right.
They aren't, you aren't setting them up to do a special attack. They're just there. They're
just kind of there and occasionally like poking something with a weapon, maybe. Yeah, that's a shame.
There's no, and this is the modern JRPG thing. There's no towns.
Are there no towns?
You're not going to towns. You're going back to the hideout to restock on items.
There's no towns?
There's no towns.
Oh.
There's no inns. There's no weapon shop. There's no
literally step one of all JRPGs. All JRPGs exist for two things: fishing and cool towns.
This is a Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's like 13 all over again, because 13 has that problem too, where there aren't any towns, right? And it's like, oh, you guys couldn't learn that lesson again?
I would be so much more forgiving if this game were not called Final Fantasy 16.
Sure.
If it was called Final Fantasy Icon or fucking Final Fantasy Strangers of Paradise 2.
Right.
I'd be like, fine, whatever. It's a spin-off. I really like Strangers of Paradise, and it didn't have towns or like a lot of in-depth RPG mechanics, but at least you could fucking equip things to your party members.
Right. It felt like the other party members were actually an active part of the video game.
It felt like they were present in the story and like doing things.
They like seemed like actual parts of the whole, I suppose, right? Instead of it all just kind of like revolving around Jack. Yeah.
And there's just so many things about this game that I'm just like, the story is not engaging at all. The story does not, I hate saying Game of Thrones.
Sure.
I really do.
But
it's so prevalent there. It's like, it's like when I watched The Witcher, and it's like, when 50% of the episode took place in the Game of Thrones dimension instead of being about Geralt.
Right.
Like, whenever Geralt wasn't on the screen, it would cut to a bunch of guys in a castle talking about, like, the lands across the river and how they need to snuff out this person.
Right.
And, like, crush this army and whatnot. And, like, they were stabbing each other in the back.
Yeah, so, like the Game of Thrones dimension. Yeah, like you said.
Like, I don't fucking care about that.
The thing about Game of Thrones is that, like, the only thing in existence that ever did it well was the first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones. Charitably, the 5th one. And then, like, everybody else just feels like they're copying the first 4 to 5 seasons of Game of Thrones. And then the kicker about all of this is that Game of Thrones didn't even do Game of Thrones well at the end. Like, that's the thing.
It fell apart. And
turns out,
you think about this in comparison to other games, right? Like I'm thinking about FF7 Remake, right? When I'm playing this, right? And I'm like, you know what happens when it would cut to Shinra and like they're all sitting in a boardroom talking? They're talking about Avalanche.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're still very specifically talking about like stuff that is relevant to like, what the main characters are doing.
Yeah. it's directly vital to it's setting up something the party is about to run into.
That's right. Everything is connected. Crazy.
Like,
Imagine that.
Imagine that. Like, why would I care when the game cuts to a bunch of old guys sitting around talking about, like, trade routes and, like, we have to go to war, when Clive isn't involved in this?
Yeah.
They aren't doing this in response to an action that Clive took that rippled over to them. It's just like, meanwhile, there's talks of a war happening in this kingdom over here. I don't fucking care!
Yeah, no, like, it takes a very deft hand to make that kind of thing work. And in Final Fantasy, even like the one game that I think does that well is Final Fantasy 12. And one, even FF12 is a little long in the tooth toward the end there. And two, like, all of that politics shit is still kind of relevant to the main characters. Like, a lot of that heavy lifting is like that Larsa is there and like Ash is one of your main characters and all that politics shit directly like involves her. And like, that's kind of the thing, is that you need, like, you can have your meanwhile in the Game of Thrones dimension talk, but like the Game of Thrones dimension talk still has to be relevant to the characters.
Yeah, like in FF12 it works because Ash is your party member, and despite her being in hiding, she is an active member of the political scene.
Right.
And her absence is causing a lot of this shit.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Clive is a prince, but he was ousted when he was a teenager, and he's been gone for 15 years.
Right.
None of this involves him.
Yeah, he's not like an active participant.
It's not like they're saying, you know, we can make this move because the Prince Clive is gone.
Right.
Right? Like,
sure.
No, it would happen regardless of if he's there or not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so I just can't bring myself to give a shit about the old guy in fancy garb.
It's such a shame because, like, conceptually, it's a really cool idea. Like, the idea itself is very Final Fantasy, right? Like, kingdoms at war, and then, like, all of these people who can turn into big monsters are basically, like, the fantasy equivalent of a nuke, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's a thing that Final Fantasy IX is kind of tangentially about, where, like, the people who can control the summons are the most powerful people in the world, right? Like, that's what the politics plot line of FF9 is, again, before that game goes a little off the rails at the very end. It's a theme with Final Fantasy games. They go a little off the rails at the end. It's fine. That's just kind of how it is after a certain point. But like, yeah, so like conceptually that works, you know? Like, having summons is a thing that can kind of shift the balance of power and can kind of change the face of the sort of landscape of the story, right? That's very Final Fantasy. That's like what a ton of Final Fantasy games are about, like summons in particular. Like FF10 is about summons and FF9 is about summons, right? So like you've got the bones, so what did you do? How did you fuck these bones up so bad?
Yeah.
How did you make these bones boring? Skeletons are cool. What did you do wrong? I don't understand. Like,
there's a part of me that would love to finish this game with you.
Sure.
And so that we can sit down and be like, what the fuck happened? How did you drop the ball this hard?
Maybe that's what we need to do, is like stream it. Just do like a series of streams, maybe?
Yeah.
And like really talk it out as we're playing it to try and figure it out.
Honestly, I think the only way I'm gonna finish the game at this point is because there was nothing firing in my brain when I'm playing it. To like I said, to the point where I was like, is my depression back? Like,
is something wrong with me? Oh no.
This should be really cool. Like, I should be enjoying the things that I'm doing and the things that are happening. This is fucking Final Fantasy.
It's a Final Fantasy Devil May Cry.
It should be better than this.
We always said, everything is improved by the addition of more Devil May Cry. However, the caveat there is that, like, if you're gonna mix something with Devil May Cry, that other thing's stuff also has to have a fingerprint in there. Otherwise, I'm just gonna go play DMC5 again.
Yeah. And
right?
there are parts in the game that did get my neurons firing.
Sure.
Like the icon battles.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I did one where usually the icon battle, like the ones they did before, is like, it kind of like puts you in like a faux third person over the shoulder. Like, here's you have attack, block, and fire buttons, and you're doing big, really slow swipes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's kind of more like a rhythm mini game than it is like actually getting in a fight. And then I did one where it's, hey, here's the basic. You have your basic moveset, except now you're fucking Godzilla,
right?
And you can you can zip around this enormous battlefield and do like these fiery dashes into the guy.
Sure,
like, that's fucking cool. Why
There's
is
cool
it more
stuff.
in the game like that?
Right, exactly. Like, why is it not a little bit more kind of insane?
Or like, hey, how do you unlock your devil trigger in this game, or your limit break? It's a fucking devil trigger. You go inside Clive's mind and you go into the Kingdom Hearts dimension, and you have to confront Nega Clive. And by fighting your evil shadow doppelganger, you unlock inside your mind, you unlock your devil trigger.
Cool.
That's fucking cool.
That's cool.
Make the whole game like that.
Yeah, that's a shame.
You could have done that.
There's so much meat that should be here, and it's just not. It's just so bland. It's like overcooked chicken.
Yeah.
You know?
I was just thinking, FF16 is like getting a really dry brisket sandwich.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
And like every so often, you get like a really nice, like tender, fatty bite.
Yeah, and it's
and
like,
oh, it's so good. Oh, man, but unless it's like just bone dry. Like super overcooked.
That's so trad.
And that's
tragic.
Yeah. I wish I could like this more, but all I do when I'm playing it is thinking there are so many better JRPGs I could be playing right now.
There's so many other games I could be playing right now. Fucking on the Discord right now, Magus is going through Tales of the Abyss and is like kind of live vlogging it as they play it.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I could play Tales of the Abyss instead. And it's like, oh yeah. That game is good. That game has a fan patch out now where they, the only good use of like upscalers, where they actually make that game look like a modern port, which is just like, fucking hell, yeah, let's go. It's like, I'd much rather see that. But.
Like I keep looking over, like I glance over a little bit to the right and see my shelf, and I'm like, I could play Like a Dragon. I could be playing Paper Mario. I could be playing Persona again.
I could play P5 Royal finally and probably have more neurons fire, right? And I mean, like, I'm kind of lukewarm on P5 these days, but I think I would still have more neurons firing.
You'd still be like, oh, hey, it's these guys I haven't seen in a while.
It's these guys I haven't seen, and like this game is still like I'm a little lukewarm on P5 these days, but it has like an extremely distinct style.
Yeah.
And like a really like firm identity that makes it very like obviously a Persona game, a thing that Final Fantasy 16 is sorely lacking in.
If the character faces in FF16 didn't look so pretty, this would be indistinguishable from Dragon Age.
Correct.
Like 100%.
Yeah. It's so tragic.
I keep looking. Like Clive's outfit is great. Like no doubt about it. Clive's outfit is fantastic.
Yeah, he looks great. Yeah.
I keep looking at Jill and Sid and all of the other NPCs, and I'm like, why are you wearing a Realm Reborn gear? Get that shit off and get a real design.
Get a real design, you fucks. None of the designs except for Clive, none of the designs in FF16 are like half as evocative or like they have half as much character as Urianger's slutty dress that he gets in Shadowbringers, right?
Yeah,
like,
no, I just keep looking at all of them, and I'm like, get a real outfit. Remember how we joked?
Why don't you have a character design?
Remember how we joked during FF7 Remake how, like, no one bats an eye at Cloud and Barrett walking onto a train with a gun hand and a giant sword?
Right.
That should be happening in 16.
Yeah, no, the whole thing is that, like, you've got protagonist syndrome. Why don't you look more like Protagoni?
Why does Jill look like I should be getting side quests from her?
Yeah. Yeah. It's really bad. It's tragic.
Jill and Sid, no lie, look like the party members that get killed in the tutorial, and their only purpose is
replaced with real design.
Yeah. like the fucking two guys that are with you at the start of FF12.
Yeah, exactly. Like even fucking Rex, like Vaughn's brother. Like those are just guys. Those are just some guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jeez.
Why do you look like your names could be Biggs and Wedge?
You just kind of look like you exist to like tutorialize mechanics at me and then die tragically when the village burns to the ground.
Yeah.
You know? Jill, why do you look like that girl that hits on Velvet at the beginning of Berseria? The one that's like, I wish you were a boy so we could get married. Like, you look like her.
Yeah.
What's up?
Please get a real design, Jill.
I am begging you to get real character designs.
There's a 5-year time skip. That was your chance to get a real design and you missed it. What the fuck, Jill?
The window. How do you fuck that up so badly? Why do all of you just look like guys?
I'm so disappointed in 16.
I know. I mean, at some point we will stream it once once like a good window for that opens. Mm. I think that would be fun to like stream it and just really talk through like why this isn't working.
It's not even laughably bad like a David Cage game.
That might be the worst. That might be the worst part, right? Like
better a 1 than a 5.
Better a 1 than a 5, right? Like at least a very bad video game. You David Cage's, your Kwai Mans, like they are so bad that they become entertaining,
right?
And like obviously a good game is just a good video game. And then even then there are good 7s out there, right?
Yeah.
Like so like the first Nier game is like the best 7 ever made, right? Mm-hmm. Because it has a lot of weird scrungliness to it on top of like this super interesting story, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If FF16 had been like a stellar 7, then that would have been awesome, where it has like a lot of weird plot shit going on. But like to my eyes, and again, I haven't played it, so like who knows, but just from the outside looking in, nothing I have seen, nothing I have heard of FF16 like does anything. Even the people who like I've seen talking about it like on Twitter and on Discord, it's like this game is fine. It's fine. Yeah. But like there's nothing about this game that's driving everybody I know categorically insane like other shit that's come out this year.
Right, exactly. Like there's nothing that's just like at least Metal Gear Solid 4 made me angry. Sure.
MGS4 is like, peak. It's impossible to say whether or not Metal Gear Solid 4 is good or bad.
Like I think of one of the worst experiences I've had playing a video game this year is Chapter 3 of Metal Gear Solid 4.
Sure.
And at least that fired neurons. It fired bad neurons. but at least I was
experiencing brain death. Yeah.
I was definitely feeling a lot of things during Chapter 3 of Metal Gear Solid 4. I have not had anything like that playing 16.
Yeah, that's a shame.
So, yeah. I think it would be a very interesting project to stream 16 and really just be like, why is this not clicking? What is the missing element?
What is not here that needs to be here? So yeah, look forward to that. That might be fun. That might be a fun project to do and actually like sort out our feelings on it. So
maybe when I finish the road to KH4, I can do a pit stop in the land of 16.
That's correct. Also, before we get to the news, I think my dog has something in her mouth.
Oh,
so please hold.
Yep, go get that.
Eva. It's just a ball. It's just a ball. It's just a ball.
It's just a ball.
It's just a ball. That's how it always is. Anyways, let's talk about some news.
Some of these are old, so they might have changed in the time, but
sure, it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah. Animators are unionizing amid Hollywood strikes.
Nice, I saw that. We love to see it.
You love to see that.
We love to see more unions. It actually came out today that one of the big VFX studios that does work for Marvel is making a unionization push, which is even better.
which is great. I love that shit.
I love that. They, especially the people who make the VFX for Marvel movies, are like some of the most overworked, underpaid bastards like on the planet.
Yeah, just like, hey, by the way, while all your projects are shut down, you owe us some money.
Yeah, you know what? We're actually also gonna unionize. What's up?
Hey, can we get in on this? We're just gonna slip this into you, and we're just
gonna sneak right in there. Don't mind us.
Hey, since nothing's happening in the office today, the boys and I have been talking.
So the boys and I have been talking, and we've decided to unionize in favor of smashing Bob Iger's skull against the pavement. I mean, we could still do that, but
those are your options.
That's kind of your option, yeah. The lads and I have been talking.
We need all of these unions are good and all these strikes are good because it's really reminding everyone of the fact that unions are the compromise.
Unions are the compromise.
And was it Ron Perlman?
Yeah, it was Ron Perlman. It was like, just go burn that fucker's house down.
Like the alternative, in case any CEOs or anything have forgotten, is they rob you at gunpoint and burn your house down.
Yeah, they beat you to death in front of your family. Yeah, imagine that.
So that's the alternative. The unions and the strike is the compromise.
That's right. Like the alternative is way worse, my friends. You don't want the alternative.
I mean, I would love it if Ron Perlman burned a CEO's house down.
Oh, for sure. No, I think Ron Perlman should burn Bob Iger's house down.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we'll see where that leads to. But the more the merrier.
The more the merrier, for sure. I hope everybody goes on strike.
Yeah. Let's do it. We're getting there. We're inching our way there. We shut down an entire industry.
The movies are all shut down. So you know what? It's only a matter of time.
Next, Overwatch. The good news continues. Overwatch League on verge of ending after grim Activision financial report.
Yeah. I don't know. This was a really crazy story though, because they literally were like, we will pay you $3 million to shut down.
I looked at this article and I had to reread it like 5 times because I'm like, this can't
not.
I am misreading the flow of action that takes place here. This is Blizzard saying, we will give each team $6 million each if they stop playing competitive Overwatch.
Yeah, I guess because, like, the number of teams times the 6 million or 3 million or whatever dollars per team payout is still less money than the amount of money they will lose next year if Owl keeps going.
What the fuck are they spending it on?
I don't know. I mean, like, I guess, like, ads and promotions and sponsorships and all kinds of stuff. I suppose that can add up to being a significant chunk of cash, but, like, I guess, like, over a certain, I suppose that, like, if Owl keeps going, right, you have to pay those salaries for however many years it keeps going. But if you just do one big lump sum payout right now, then, like, you know, in the long run, you're saving money, I guess?
I guess?
I guess? I don't know.
It just, like, the fact that they're even offering a buyout like that means that they were just, the money was burning. Like, it had to have been, like, just...
the pile of money was on, like, cartoonish amounts of fire, for sure, for sure.
For them to be, like, instead of just being like, hey, we're shutting it down and fuck you for that, it's rather like, no, we'll pay you to stop playing.
Yeah.
It had to have been bad.
I suppose, like, if they pay you to stop playing, then that's different than just straight up terminating. Like, because you're not paying, like, contract termination fees either, right? Like, we're saying we will give you money to voluntarily quit, so you are nullifying our contract, and we will let you do that. But if we try to nullify the contract, you will have to pay us more money, I suppose. Yeah. I don't know.
It's
bad. It's really funny, though.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Somebody who hates both Activision and Blizzard, like, with every bone in her body, this is just really funny to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I love this.
I love it. Folks, you'd love to see it.
This is great. This is the total approximation of the buyout at the end. $114 million.
Honestly, that makes sense. That probably is a whole hell of a lot cheaper than, like, letting this league that nobody cares about limp along for the next 2 to 5 years, right? Like, the money sink for that is less than, like, maintaining it, right?
Right.
So it probably is a cost reduction thing, but it's also very funny to have to pay $114 million to end the league you ruined, right? By making the video game bad.
There's just so much desperation.
Oh, it's so funny.
And to be like, we need to shut these doors now.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Next, Marvel Spider-Man 2 new story trailer.
Yay!
We finally saw the new designs for Peter, Miles, and MJ. They all look great.
They all look good.
Like, people were like, oh, they got new face models. No, they didn't.
They're just better.
They're just that much better looking. We got a full cutscene reveal, like an actual cutscene reveal of what Venom will look like. And he looks fucking great.
Yeah.
Everything about this, I'm just so happy to see. Like, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be a very good video game.
It's the reason to hang on to that PS5 just a little bit longer.
I'm very excited to play this video game. So we are also free from the world of adapting Stan Slott material.
Yeah,
we have entered the realm of adapting Chip Zdarsky material. because there is a shot of MJ hiding from Venomized Peter, and it is like a shot-for-shot remake of a cover of one of the miniseries that Zdarsky wrote called The Spider Shadow.
Oh, great! So we're now adapting the really good stuff.
We're getting the good shit now.
Thank God.
Oh, I am so fucking happy.
So it's a reason to keep that PS5 just a little longer.
Just a little bit longer.
Just a little bit longer.
No, it looks phenomenal. I'm super excited for it. What was it? There was one other thing that I can't remember what it was now. Oh, the bit where Miles gets to actually confront Martin Lee after Lee is the one responsible for killing his dad.
Right.
In the first game.
Yeah.
Is gonna be great, and Lee just looks like Keanu Reeves.
For some reason.
He looks like John Wick. Prison has not been well to him. He kinda gave up immediately after getting into prison. Looking like a fucking broke hobo man.
You know.
Oh, I'm so excited. Also, we saw like a couple of previews of like the new DLC costumes, and they look amazing.
Yeah. That's October, right?
October 20th.
Wow, my birthday.
The same day as Mario, the Mario Wonder.
Oh yeah, okay.
Which is gonna be interesting. It's gonna
completely different audiences though, so I think it'll be all right.
And then like a month later is fucking Mario RPG remake.
Yeah, that's the one that really matters. Yeah. It's fucking Mario RPG remake.
The back half of this year is gonna be insane.
It's gonna be extremely painful.
Speaking of good RPGs, I can't wait to play Super Mario RPG.
Oh, I know. Local Super Mario RPG fan excited to play it for the first time. That's about where I am.
What we'll have to do is we'll do like a trade-off of we'll do 16 in Mario RPG back to back on stream, so we have direct comparisons.
One that is good, and that's not fair. Not very few things can stack up against Mario RPG. Even I know that.
But yeah, I'm so happy to be free of Dan Slott material. The one thing that could make Spider-Man 2 an 11 out of 10 is if Daredevil shows up at any point.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Just rocket it right to the fucking moon.
If we get Zdarsky style Daredevil in Spider-Man 2, it's going to be
over.
The best video game of all time. Next, Season 1 of Lackadaisy gets teaser trailer crowdfunding announcement. It made it, obviously. It already earned over $1 million.
Yeah, it's getting, I think 5 episodes now. Like, after the Kickstarter kind of ran its course. They didn't do Kickstarter. They did something else. Yeah, they did BackerKit instead. Yeah, no, I think they're getting the full 5 or 6 episode run of, like, a proper first season. Good for them. I would love a Lackadaisy TV show or a Lackadaisy animated series. It'll probably take forever to finish, but that's fine. I can wait.
They are. I think they got at 1 million. They got another episode.
Okay.
And then at 2 million, they're getting Blu-rays. At the $2 million mark, if we can hit that.
Awesome. They'll probably hit that.
Yeah.
Good for them. Yeah, the pilot was extremely strong, so I'm really glad that they're going to get a full show. It's just going to take a little while for it to manifest.
Yeah. Next, Street Fighter 6 tournament accidentally flashes new Chun-Li mod.
This one this obviously is extremely not safe for work.
Yeah.
Folks,
pay attention.
As an avid crime doer in Final Fantasy XIV, turn off your mods before you, I don't know, take a screenshot or stream or run a Street Fighter tournament.
Yeah. So
that Chun-Li's titties aren't just kind of like out all over the place. Just an idea. You know?
Yeah, just
yeah.
If you're going to a tournament, just turn all that shit off.
Turn all of that shit off. Turn it all off. It's technically a violation of your terms of services.
Yeah.
So turn that off. The video is extremely funny though. I mean, like
hearing the announcers like try to negotiate with that.
Yeah, just like if that straight up, if that happened to me, I think I would just die, right?
Yeah.
Like you just have to like walk into the ocean, right?
I've seen people compare this to Italian Tifa.
Sure.
This is I think this is almost worse.
Yeah.
In a way. Because this is just showing that you do this shit all the time.
Yeah, like you just play the game like that.
Yeah.
I feel like getting caught watching porn while you're on the job, even if being on the job well, no, because like it's not. Isn't it that like I don't actually know the full story behind the Tifa and the Italian Senate, but isn't it just that like somebody else? It wasn't that somebody was watching it. It's that like somebody broadcast it in there, right?
I think what happened. Yeah,
it was like there was like a Zoom stream and it was like a Zoom call, and somebody managed to get into the Zoom call of like the fucking Italian Senate.
It was a hacker doing that.
Yeah, see, that's different.
Yeah.
Like, you're not getting caught like watching porn on company time. This is like, oh, you just play the game like this?
Yeah,
bro.
you just have this on while you're while you're doing sets of Street Fighter 6.
It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, no, I simply would have to die. You would never see me again. I would walk into the sea. Mm-hmm. So yeah, not great.
Yeah. Let's talk about the biggest thing that happened since we've recorded. Yes. Dawn Trail. Finally giving Warriors of Light the vacation they deserve.
I am tentatively excited for Dawn Trail. There's a chance it could be bad. There's a chance it could be good. Right now, it's up in the air. I hope it's really good. But I am excited. All things considered, I am excited. FanFest was extremely fun just to watch and lose my mind at with other people. Yeah, no. We're getting 2 die channels. That's the actual most important part.
Yes, that's the thing that everyone got the most excited about, was we are finally getting 2 sections of outfits to die.
Yeah, literally. Like, I had friends on Twitter who were at FanFest, and they were like, no, 2 die channels got literally as much applause as the entire Dawn Trail trailer.
Yeah.
Which is very funny to me. Mm-hmm. Do you just call it the Dawn trailer? Do you just, like, it's the Dawn Trail trailer?
I'm surprised the expansion itself is not called Dawn Trailer.
It's very funny to me. It's a really unwieldy title. I keep wanting to say like Dawn Treader. Yeah. Right? Kind of like Endwalker.
Well, and Shadowbringer.
Yeah.
You need the at the end of it.
Yeah, I feel, but maybe because like Shadowbringers and Endwalker are like, you know, one is a sequel to, like, one is basically a direct sequel to the other.
Right.
So like, they kind of have to, you know, like, that's why those 2 sound similar, and they're trying to not do that. But it just seems wrong, right? I keep wanting to write like Dawn Treader or something like that. Because Dawn Trail just seems very strange. But yeah, no, I am excited. I'm hoping it's very good. They're at least apparently making some efforts to not be like extremely culturally insensitive, making this video game set in like fantasy, like South America-ish. It's kind of like a little bit. It's a little bit South America. It's a little bit of like Indonesia and stuff like that. So there's a couple different types of kind of cultures being smashed together. But that's every culture. Well, yeah, in Final Fantasy 14. That's like the Orleans are Russian Romans. You know,
you take inspiration and mishmashes from a variety of different cultures in that sort of like climate. You know,
yeah,
but it's a fantasy thing. Like it's your idea's got to come from somewhere, right?
Sure, of course. And like, yeah, they're just kind of they're smushing a few things together, and I mean, like, as long as they're making some sort of effort to not be like, yes, we the people from the civilized world are coming to help these uncivilized people get their shit together.
Which
it's like okay, as long as we're not doing that, that's fine.
Which I think I think there's a good chance we are not getting that because of everything with the Beast Tribes that they're like, oh right, we should not do that.
We should not do that. We should try to do good instead of bad.
They've already had this problem, so you know they should learn by now.
Yeah, I hope they've learned. Now, will they? We'll see, but I hope so. But yeah, it is an interesting thing because like. I was kind of under the impression that 7.0 was going to be a bigger reset than it turns out it is.
Yeah.
It seems like it's just like a direct sequel.
Yeah, I really thought that 7.0 was going to be basically FF14 too.
Yeah, right? And I thought like, okay, well, because like they're, you know, the small things they have announced, like level cap is going up to 100 and stuff like that. Like, I kind of thought like we're going to do a different, because like they're gonna have to eventually fuck with those numbers because you can't start getting into like level 120, right?
Yeah.
Because it starts to look goofy. You know, you're gonna have to start fudging those numbers somehow. you know, I feel like the gimme was to make this one go up to 99 because it's like a Final Fantasy thing, is that the level only goes up to 99. So yeah, there's a lot of weirdness here. Like, if this is supposed to be the new onboarding point for the story, how is that going to work? Like, the whole reason they've kind of put the codex into 14 is so that new players can just kind of know the backstories of various and sundry characters. But, like, are you just going to be able to buy Dawn Trail? Like, or are you going to have to buy a story skip as well all the way up to Dawn Trail, right? Yeah. Like, what does that onboarding look like?
It just feels strange to have Endwalker's ending.
Yeah.
And then say, no, there's just a regular expansion afterward.
Yeah, it feels very weird that we're still, like, doing a normal expansion where we're fucking around with the Scions. Like, I thought maybe this would be like, okay, well, we're going to meet some new characters. We're going to meet a time skip, and they're finally going to bite the bullet and have Alice and Alphino, like, be grown-ups now. But they're never going to do that. You know, there's just, like, it's very weird. Like, I'm still tentatively excited, but this feels like very strange choices.
I'm very excited, but I'm just like, it's not what I expected.
No, and I'm wondering, part of me wonders if that, like, because, like, they realize, like, maybe that was the plan for 7.0, and then they realize the scope of that means they need a buffer expansion.
They need more time, yeah.
And, like, 8.0 is going to be the actual, like, hard reset for everything. I don't know.
I think that would make more sense. I think 8.0 being, like, because you hit level 100, and then you're done, right? Like, that is the peak of it, and then 8.0 is the reset.
Sure. Right. Yeah, and this is just kind of like a fun, like, sort of hanging out epilogue sort of story. Yeah. And then we I don't know, we start hopping different shards, maybe? I don't know.
I mean, maybe this will be bigger than Endwalker somehow.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? Anything is possible. I'm very interested to see, like, what all of this looks like. I'm kind of worried. The problem is also that, like, they've really got to rework some of these jobs because I'm playing on controller. I'm out of buttons on a lot of these jobs, guys.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, I'm looking at, like, that's 10 more levels of buttons I'm gonna have. Like,
well, a lot of it'll just be that, like, skills are changing, but they still have to add at least 2 new buttons, right? And then everything else can be, like, skill level up. But, like, your level 100 skill should be something new.
I'm out of space.
I'm out of space on a lot of my bars. I had to make a decision. I'm playing Paladin now. I picked it up. I like it. I picked up Paladin, and I was, like, tentatively laying out my buttons for, like, the levels as they come in. And I'm like, I don't have enough buttons on this controller for all the buttons they want from me. And, like, the thing is, even on, like, hotbars on PC, they're out of buttons, too, for a lot of jobs. Like, it's not just controller babies. It's also MKB people are also like, I'm out of buttons, guys.
We gotta rework these things.
So are you gonna rework, like, every class? I know that, like, most classes these days, except because, like, I'm trying, like, kind of going through a mental map in my head right now. Like, most classes these days have a spare 3 to 4 buttons, right?
Right.
Like, Reaper doesn't. I don't think Reaper uses every button on the controller. Like, Dragoon definitely does. Frankly, Dragoon has too many. But, like, are we going to start doing the thing where we start compressing down everybody's jobs? I'm just saying, basically all I'm saying is you can do transforming buttons. Nobody is going to bite you.
Right, yeah.
If you actually do the smart thing.
Machinist is really good about evolving buttons.
Yeah, and, like, if you're playing a Paladin, or if you're playing any tank, your 1, 2, 3 is set in stone, right?
Yeah, you don't...
You're pressing the same button. That can be 3 presses of the same button over and over again. You know? Like, I know you want to make it feel like you're doing more, but also, I'm playing on a controller. And I ain't going away from playing on a controller.
Right. Yeah, no, me neither.
That's make or break. If you start saying, like, well, you gotta play with MKB, I'm like, I want to go play for a different video game. Yeah. Bye. Like, that's not negotiable. So,
I think the best compromise is to just have your 90 through 100 is evolving skills, and they don't add any new buttons.
They're gonna have to. I mean, I still feel like they're probably gonna add like 1 or 2 new, because then like that kind. Otherwise, that kind of ruins the fun of like your level 100 skill, right? You want it to be something fun and different.
I mean, you just make it an evolution of your 90 skill.
Yeah, I guess. How? That's the other thing. Like, how are they gonna change some of this shit?
Most of the classes, their 90 skill is here's your big ultimate thing.
Your big burst.
Yeah. your big super attack that you've earned for getting to level 90. Like, what do they do? Say, here's another one.
Right. So you just make the button bigger.
Yeah, you just say no, it does more damage now.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, this is very interesting because, like, again, this is not really what I was expecting 7.0 to be. Yeah. But we're getting more info on that in October as well. So happy birthday to me! I'm getting a lot of stuff in October. And
it's coming out next year.
And it's coming out next year. Okay. In fucking June 2024.
I'm very excited to spend about 10 hours in a tropical paradise. Mm-hmm. And then it all goes horribly fucking wrong and a lot of people die.
Right, the shoe drops. Yeah, exactly. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to actually playing a whole, like, 0.0 version of this game, like, on launch. Yes, I will be taking off work. You know what's gonna be weird? What? Queue time? We're gonna move on from the Endwalker title card. I know. Yeah, other people have been living this life for a really long time, and we're finally gonna have to experience it. I'm mostly interested to know what a long queue looks like, because I bet we play on Brynhildr. Folks, we play on Brynhildr. It's the suburbs. It's very quiet out there. Mm-hmm. Our queue is never longer than like 30 people. We're gonna get those Endwalker days of like 6,000 people in queue. Calling your significant other to like, hey, log me into 14. So that when I get home from work, I'll be able to get in. Yeah. Like by next year, I'm hoping I'm gonna have like another gaming setup when the basement's all set up. Like I have my laptop, like I have like a desktop like down there instead. I'll be like, yeah, it's lunchtime. I'm gonna go turn on 14, so that by the time work is done, I can play 14. I'll be in. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's pretty much how it's gonna be. The only notable thing in the trailer, two notable things in the trailer. One is that Graha continues his fast food life. That's right. We saw that boy eating tacos. Our boy got some tacos. Good for him. Mm-hmm. It reminds me of that post where it's like, I think FF14 has the same lore rules as Shrek. There's dragons, but there's also fast food. Yeah, there's also like McDonald's. Yeah. And the other thing. We're finally getting a real pirate class. I hope so. So they said the 2 new classes are both DPS. One is casting and one is melee DPS. They are. Let's do our premonition right now. Corsair is the melee. Pictomancer. I think so. Oh, this is what I want to talk about. Yeah, the thing that Yoshi P did was it Yoshi P? Yeah, it should be. Yeah, he came out on stage and he's like, oh, it's hot. I got to take this jacket off. And he's wearing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles shirt. Right. And the last time he did this, he wore a Spider-Man shirt. Right. To announce Samurai. Because the director of the Spider-Man trilogy was Sam Raimi. Right. Which is stupid. That's correct. So we're looking at Ninja Turtles. And it's like, but the ninja class is already announced. Right. So what could it be? Well, they're named after Renaissance artists. Now, see, this could also be an extremely veiled reference to the fact that, like, yeah, ninja has already been unveiled, but ninja is a scouting class, and we obviously need another scouting class. So I am calling my shots and saying that Corsair is going to be a scouting class. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, like that's probably going to be the case. So it'll have like I'm really hoping they do the extremely cool thing where you get a sword and a gun, right? Yeah. Like that's what I really, really want is that you get a sword and like a handgun as like a sidearm. Yeah, no, even just like a small like sidearm, not even like a blunderbuss, right? That you just use for your ranged attack, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. That would be super cool. I hope we get that, but I am thinking, so like the big thing that they keep saying is that 7.0 is also going to have Kryl finally be important, which like, thank God.
Right.
And Kryl's whole thing is kittyhood, right?
Right.
And I know that, I think the two characters, like the two classes from like old Final Fantasy Tactics shit, Pictomancer and Oracle both have had kitty hoods before, right?
Well, also you also think of Realm in FF6,
right?
Who is also a very small little girl.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have a kitty hat, but she is cat-like.
Yes.
So
I'm hoping the next that's like Pictomancer, because I think it'd be fun. It'd be really different than just like Green Mage. Right?
Yeah. People were also saying Geomancer, but I don't think
so. Because a lot of that stuff that's in Geomancer is just part of White Mage now.
Yeah, and it's also all of it is also covered by like Summoner.
Right. Yeah. So like, I think the idea of like some sort of painting oriented class would be really fun, and I would like that. Mm-hmm. So that's me calling shots. I'm pointing at the stands, folks.
I think Corsair is definitely the safest bet for the melee one.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to a tropical ocean paradise.
Yeah, and you don't want to say like you want something a little bit more neutral than like pirate or privateer. And Corsair is basically that, but like it sounds like a cool. And also, I think Corsair is a class that's been in Final Fantasy before. I think so. Let me look up. I don't know. There's a lot of classes in like Tactics and Tactics Advanced.
It was in 11.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that one's a gimme then. Yeah, I think that one's an easy one.
The special job class in FF11 based on the Gambler. Ooh.
That would be fun.
Gambler might also be a good pick.
I feel like a Gambler class, though. No, I guess.
Well, yeah, because Astrologian has wild card draws, right?
Yeah, it's got a type. It has an RNG element, kind of the way that like Dancer and the other aiming classes have. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that might be fun. I'd play that. I'd give it a shot.
I think a pirate style class or like a sailor class that has an RNG element to it as a melee DPS would be really good.
It'd be real. I would really like that. And plus
that would also really help differentiate it from the other swashbuckling class, Red Mage.
Yeah, I'd like that. And like the thing is that right now we have 2 maiming, 2 striking, 1 scouting, 3 ranged? Yeah, we have 3 ranged. And technically we have 4 casting classes, but one of them is a limited casting class, so it doesn't count. Sorry, Blue Mage, as much as I love you, you don't count. So like, it does kind of make sense that the next 2 classes would be the ones to round out like a proper casting class, right? So you have 4 casting classes and another scouting class, so Ninja actually has to share gear with somebody. So that the ninjas can't just win every roll all of the time. Which
people have been talking about, like you're going to be a pirate, and for the first 90% of your skills, you're going to be wearing ninja outfits.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
They might need to backload some pirate looking gear.
Yeah, like most of your gear is going to be kind of ninja-y, so yeah. Well, the thing about like most scouting classes, like scouting class fucking armor that isn't like the artifact armor, is that it's just reskinned striking stuff.
Yeah.
So it's all samurai and monk stuff with a different color palette, or like
which is still
a pauldron is missing.
Which is still like very Japanese style, like monk and samurai.
Yeah. So I'm really hoping that like the next stuff is very backloaded to be kind of piratey.
Yeah.
So you have some Corsair shit. I'm really looking forward to all the fashion. I'm really looking forward to the graphics update, like a lot.
I am as someone who plays a character that is headcanon wise or lore wise very pirate oriented. I'm very excited to finally play an actual pirate class.
Local man excited to actually be a pirate for the first time. Yeah.
I've been using the Sky Pirate title since I got it.
You can finally live your dream, Ben,
I can
and
finally
actually be a pirate.
one.
Yeah, no, I'm still excited for Dawntrail. All things considered, I think it's kind of a weird. I think it's kind of a weird growing pains expansion, but I also think it could be good and fun at the same time.
I think you are totally right on the mark that this is a buffer expansion.
Yeah.
They were like, ooh, we need 4 more years before we can actually revamp this game.
Or it could become a case where, like, the main plot of Final Fantasy XIV is the A Realm Reborn to Endwalker, like, progression, and then everything after this is just, like, episodic shit, right?
That could be it too, yeah.
I think that could be interesting. I would hope to have another long-running plot happen in the background, but if it just becomes kind of like fun episodic stuff, then that could be okay. But yeah, no, there's a lot of options, but I definitely think that they realize, like, oh, we want to do something big. Oh, it's going to take a lot longer than we realized. Yeah, I think that's definitely up there. I think that's part of, like, why, like, they obviously, I mean, because they said that, you know, they're speaking of the graphics update, they said that, like, well, obviously the stuff in Dawntrail, like, the graphics update is going to roll out, not all at once, right?
They're gonna do. They talked about, like, the important NPCs first.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna re-update the textures on some of the Realm Reborn gear. Mm-hmm. Redo the lighting for a lot of areas.
Right, but, like, all of that, like, it's not going to be all of the gear all at once. That's like too many things. It's not going to be like every NPC. It's not going to be every zone all with 7.0. It's going to have to be like with every patch after 7.0. It's like, okay, well, we've managed to update the graphics in Elpis. We've updated the graphics in the Crystarium.
They are literally tightening up the graphics in level 3.
Right, exactly. And the thing is that I kind of think that I'm on the money that 8.0, this is, like, way too far out from the future, in the future, to even try to make a guess, but I'm going to do it. Like, they want to launch 8.0 with the whole game being like, look at all of our fancy graphics, right? Yeah. We've updated the graphics, and it all looks good now. Now 8.0, and it's a whole new thing. So I feel like that's probably the case. They realize, like, oh shit, this graphics overhaul is a way bigger job than we realized.
Yeah. And and also, that graphics overhaul will be a perfect transition for when the Warrior of Light gets hit with the D-level beam.
That's when you get hit with the level 1 beam. Yeah, exactly. You have to play with a whole bunch of new classes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh no, you broke all your job stones. Oh, beams. Oh, dang it. Oh,
also, all the jobs have different names now. Bye.
Oh, like, dang it. Oh, man. Look at that. That sucks, doesn't that? I guess you gotta start over.
Final Fantasy 14 1, you pick your different zone out of the fucking start menu. You have to pick which game you're loading into.
Yeah.
Who knows? There's so many options. It's insane.
I know.
I don't even know how they'd go about doing it, but we'll see.
I think that what you nailed that on the head. It's like you gotta load in the first game, the second game.
Yeah, we're just making 14 too. Fuck off.
Yeah. Next, EVO 2023 biggest reveals and announcements.
Oh, I didn't even. I didn't even watch EVO this year.
I didn't even watch a bit of EVO. I was too busy. Reptile announced for MK1.
Sure.
He's finally a human again.
Yay!
And he turns into a lizard. They also brought back Ashra and Havoc.
Okay.
Ashra is, I think didn't she used to be a demon? I'm looking it up. They are 3D MK characters, obviously, from 4 and beyond. Yeah, she's another goddess, like Raiden used to be. Havoc is a zombie, or not a zombie. He's kind of like a zombie, but his whole thing is that he rips off his own limbs to attack you.
Oh, that's funny.
Like, he rips off his arm and smashes you over the head with it and then puts it back on. Yeah,
that's fun.
One of his taunts is him breaking his own neck.
Great.
Yeah. So lots of fun with that. Very surprising to see them show up here, because usually it's like, oh yeah, we can just kill those guys. No one cares about them.
Right.
They're fodder for the storyline to be killed off.
Yeah, like they exist to be killed in the plot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We got to see Aki in Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, they were like, what if we did Jury too?
What is it? Because like someone's pointed out, like, this is the reason why Jury is a fail girl.
In 6, yeah.
In 6 is because we needed to save all of the actual insanity for Aki.
Yeah. It's great. They're like, we really want we want more Jury books. So we just made another one.
Yeah.
Jury like, oh, that's genius. Yeah.
And then
so smart.
And then they announced some crossover outfits you can get.
Yeah,
to play as the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, you just play as the Ninja Turtles in Street Fighter. Sure.
Why not?
Why not? This might as well be happening.
They got Alex Lee, the voice actor for Luke, to sing the theme song on stage. And
yeah, it's good.
It's really fucking good. Tekken 8, Raven and Azucena. Raven is a returning character. Azucena.
I think it's Azucena.
Azucena is new. I don't really play Tekken, but just like every other Tekken character, they fucking look amazing.
Oh Tekken designs Tekken looks great.
Tekken designs are incredible. Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. A sequel to Garou.
Yes!
It's coming out.
Sure, make a sequel to Grow. Fuck you, absolutely.
Why not?
Why not?
The slogan is "Legends never die; they get better." Bring back Garou. Give Terry back his best design.
That's right, please.
Johnny in Guilty Gear.
Johnny in Guilty Gear looked great.
God, he is so slutty in his like portrait art.
Yeah, good for him.
Oh my god!
You know, everybody is living their best lives and strive. Just like all of those designs, fucking whip ass. Yeah. So good for him.
His trailer is really cool looking. Mm-hmm. I can see a lot of cool shit that I can't keep track of.
Yeah, no, that's one of those games you just kind of watch and go like, "Oh, it looks awesome."
Yeah,
I'm no good at it, but
right,
it looks great.
No. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2.
Sure. I mean, I guess the first game did well enough. Maybe this time it'll have more stuff in it.
Yeah, they announced Plankton in a giant robot suit.
Great.
And they added Final Smashes.
They're like, fuck it, we're just making Super Smash Brothers like 100% now. Fuck you.
Sure. They showed off SpongeBob's in which he gets into a boat with Mrs. Puff and runs down the driving course and smashes into them.
That's so good. Perfect.
What else? And then just other a couple minor
little
games
things
here and there. Project L and Under Night and Birth 2.
Sure.
Evo was apparently pretty good, but also made a lot of people mad because the final round of MVC3 was just Zero May Cry mirror match.
Yeah, I saw that. I think Tekken also Tekken. This was
Tekken was also a mirror match. Yeah,
it was Tekken 7's last appearance at Evo, and it ended on a mirror match. And it's oh, okay. Okay.
Oh no. I'm sorry, ripped people who don't like Zero May Cry, but I'm different. I love that shit.
I built different. Fuck you. Shit's cool.
Yeah. Zero's voice actor is the same as Nero. It's just Devil May Cry.
It's just fun. Yeah, exactly.
Next, Final Fantasy 16 sales did not meet high expectations, says Square Enix president. Fuck you.
Yeah. Now, I have kind of mixed feelings about this because one, Square Enix does have, has always historically had unrealistic expectations for sales. They have always done this. However, two, the game that's on a system that not a lot of people own, that doesn't really look like a Final Fantasy game, underperformed. you could have put that on PC and probably done better.
Also, to be clear, it didn't underperform.
No, I mean, it didn't underperform. It did $3 million.
It sold. It successfully made a profit.
Yeah, it didn't. But their projections were insane. Yeah,
they're bitching that it didn't make enough of a profit.
Well, and I mean, like, the problem. This is a mixed thing because they're bitching that they didn't make enough of a profit. But the thing is that like we were talking about this in the Discord, which by the way you should join the Discord.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 15, that game that everybody has really mixed feelings about, sold 5 million copies in its first week.
Right.
Right. So far, Final Fantasy 16 has moved 3 million. So
yeah.
And like Final Fantasy to a certain extent, Final Fantasy numbers are bigger numbers, right? Final Fantasy X is one of the best-selling games of all time.
Yeah.
Right?
It does have a certain amount of pedigree.
It has there's a certain expectation of huge sales because it's a numbered Final Fantasy. That's supposed to be a big deal. And it's not that the Final Fantasy brand is weakening because, like, obviously we just spent a lot of time talking about, like, fucking how big of a deal, like, Final Fantasy VII Remake is and how big of a moneymaker Final Fantasy XIV is for Square Enix.
Yeah.
But the problem is threefold. One is that, like, Square Enix had unrealistic expectations for a game that is specifically, number two, on a system that just doesn't have, I mean, like, it's moved a lot of units, but, like, it's still a system, it's exclusive to a system that a lot of people don't own, right?
Yeah.
And then 3 is that it doesn't look like a Final Fantasy game. I think the more and more that game also was marketed really badly.
Abysmally bad.
Abysmally. And just, like, to everybody who was watching it, and, like, it had some cool hype moments over the course of, like, its various and sundry reveals, but the more and more you saw of it, the more it's like, this doesn't feel like a Final Fantasy game. It feels like The Witcher. And frankly, I would rather play The Witcher.
Yeah.
You know?
I think they are... The disappointing sales can be attributed mostly to the fact that it's just not exciting.
Yeah, and of course this is, this kind of comes back to another thing that gets brought up is that Square Enix is now like, well, we want to dial back our smaller games and focus more just on AAA. And it's like, no, you've missed the point completely.
Which is also very frustrating to hear because what does that mean?
Yeah, it just means you're going to dump more money into these games that take 6 years to make and are just money holes. Right?
you're gonna rein in your AA games. Well, you were putting out a lot of AA games. Yeah,
and some of your biggest cultural hits of the last couple years are firmly AA. Again, Final Fantasy XIV, but also even bigger is Nier Automata is a AA game. That game was made super cheaply and did gangbusters.
And you look at all their 2D HD games.
Mm-hmm.
Your Octopath, your Live Alive, those games sell.
Yeah.
What was it? Harvestella did amazing.
Yeah, these games sell really well. They're your AA, your single A options of games. Yeah. And they do really well. Meanwhile, your AAA shit totally underperforms and is basically a waste of money. AAA is such a waste of people's time and money at this point. Nobody who plays video games that aren't, and I hate to even use the term, but you know what I mean when I say that aren't normies, right?
Right.
People who just play video games as their chosen hobby. More and more people are realizing that AAA is not worth it. There's a reason why 16 didn't sell well, and it's because after a certain point, AAA is just kind of a waste of your money. We
don't have the time to play a 40-hour game that comes out once every 5 years.
Yeah, people don't... The only $70 game that seems to have done well is Zelda, and it's because it was fucking Zelda, right?
Yeah!
People don't want to spend $70 on a video game that took 5 years to make. Because, a game that takes 5 years to make, by the time it comes out, more than half the shit in the video game is dated already, right?
Yeah, that's
any trend you might have followed in terms of like design and direction has already been explored better, almost certainly, by smaller games.
Like, there's nothing that's more emblematic of this than Horizon, right? Like, as much as I love the Horizon franchise, they are suffering because these games are taking so long to come out,
right?
And the things they are working on are not worth it,
right?
We don't. It's like we said a couple weeks ago. People are going to take the wrong lesson from Zelda.
Right.
They're going to think people do still like big open worlds. They still like big empty spaces and intricate crafting and building mechanics. No.
We want fun, goofy physics simulations, right?
Yeah.
And like most of the fucking like the Tears of the Kingdom map is still the Breath of the Wild map. It's just that shit's been fucked up in it, right?
Yeah.
You reused that asset and then like messed up some of the bones, but like it's still there's still a lot of things that are in the similar-ish places, right? Yeah.
Like the lesson you need to take from Zelda is that all that shit worked because it's the guiding point of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Doing a lot with a very limited moveset.
Right.
Right?
You know, we don't need a huge fucking skill tree and tons of crafting recipes and stuff. Like, it works just as well to just kind of have a few limited things that you do extremely well, and most importantly, you make sure the game runs.
They work, yeah. They work. They
work. That's it. Like, it's not hard. That's what people want in their video games. That's actually what people want in their video games these days.
If the Tears of the Kingdom map were a quarter of the size that it actually is, the enjoyment of the game would not be hindered in any significant way.
It would still be a good video game. Yeah. Exactly. So,
like, if there's a reason why people still like Ocarina of Time. Okay.
It's a small video game that you can still just like screw around in and have fun with. Yeah. So it's not
the AAA market can't die fast enough.
Please, God, I am begging for it to die. Yeah.
Which leads us to our next article. 54 games have already been killed and 2023 ain't over yet.
Wow.
So there's a lot of live action service games.
Yeah.
That are just no longer available.
Well, it's just because this shit's all just like bad time sinks. You know, we the thing about video games even more so than ever is that people just kind of want to like have fun with a little thing and then be done with it. You don't want to play it forever. Like, not everybody can be Fortnite. Only a handful of games get to be Fortnite. And trying to be Fortnite is just a disaster waiting to happen, right?
We already have Fortnite.
People just want to play like they just want to play fun video games that don't overstay their welcome and cost approximately $30 to $50 depending on quality. That's it.
Yeah, that's all we want. I want to play a 10-hour video game.
I want to play a 10-hour video game. I'm sorry. That's what I want. I already have my video game, my big live service video game that I've sunk all of my life into. So I would like much smaller video games to supplement that instead. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't need anything more. I have the one.
That's why indie games are still are better than ever, basically.
You're not going to get me to drop 14.
Right.
And I'm not...
I mean, it's unless 14 somehow just, extremely fucks up, but, it's not happening.
And I'm also not going to play 2 of them.
No, God, no.
There's a reason why we all stopped playing 76.
Yeah, it's
because we didn't have the time to do both.
We didn't have the time to do both, and one of them was far more compelling than the other. After a certain point, a lot of these live service games, you start to just kind of realize, what is there to actually do that's fun? I'm just kind of doing, because, my turning point for 76 was when I realized, all of this is pointless, right?
Yeah.
I feel like none of this is actually contributing to anything meaningful. because there's no like interesting plot stuff to like be waiting for, because like that game is on live support, right?
Yeah, I'm not working towards an end of the story,
right?
Where I need this equipment to handle.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what's happening with a lot of live service games. Is just people realizing like, well, this is all just kind of the same shit over and over again, and it's not fun, right? Mm-hmm. And they fall off, and who wants to spend that kind of time like building up a fucking live service account?
Yeah, like one of the big ones on this list here is Gundam Evolution, which came out like a last month. Year. Yeah,
it lasted like no time at all. You know, and that should have been a winner, but it was just like another kind of Overwatch kind of clone, right?
They didn't even put Ariel in the game.
No.
How could you not put Ariel in the game?
It's because Namdai doesn't know what the fuck they're doing with G-Witch either, but that's neither here nor there.
They came out like around the same time.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they've been fucking up Gwitch too, so, Yeah, no. Just, The AAA live service game shit is just totally floundering at this point. Yeah. Nobody wants it anymore.
It's because these companies have not learned the lesson of finding the infinite money game. Mm-hmm. They want the infinite money game, but not only that, they want the infinite money game that will make more money every year.
Right. Yeah, it's like this whole idea that like infinite growth is not possible, but capital demands it, right? Like that is the whole thing of the system, is that it demands infinite growth, but like that's not going to happen ever.
But maybe we can do it.
This time will be different.
This time it can work.
This time it will work. How many more news articles do we have?
One more.
Hit me.
PS5's got so hot at fighting game tournament that things melted.
Yeah. Oh man, they probably should have made it sound like it was taking off like a jet more.
So Evo, during Evo, USB ports were actually starting to melt.
That's amazing.
And there are pictures of people's because everyone plays sticks or wired controllers because like you get better reaction time out of it.
Yeah.
And there were just so many PS5s in one warehouse or one stage.
Yeah.
That they just did the heat just wasn't pumping out correctly.
God bless it. Can you imagine how bad Evo smells?
Oh God, I don't even want to think about that. Cause like it's hot.
Cause all the consoles are putting off a lot of heat, and you're in Las Vegas. So all these consoles are putting off a lot of heat. You're in Las Vegas. There's no AC system on the planet that can like truly cool it off. Maybe it can make it not like a sauna, but like, it's not. You're not going to be like cool. You're still going to be like kind of baseline warm no matter what. So it's just kind of hot. Everybody's like, it's like con funk times a million because it's really, really hot in there. So it's making all those stink molecules vibrate even worse.
And you're also under that pressure, under the stage lights.
Yeah, no, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, that's, I cannot imagine. Like, I can't imagine, like, because you're in Las Vegas in the summer, and it's already the surface of the sun there.
Yeah.
Right? And now you're also in, like, a building with, like, 10,000 other people who are all sweltering as well. Like, fucking FanFest was also in Las Vegas. Stop putting things in Las Vegas, people.
Stop doing that. We don't need to go to Las Vegas.
Nobody needs this. It's a testament to man's hubris. Nobody should ever go to Las Vegas, Let that place go back to being desert. Give it 50 years. It'll be under sand again where it belongs.
That's what Horizon taught us.
That's right. Thank God. We should be so lucky that Las Vegas will return to the dirt. Because it's too hot, folks. It's too hot out there. Yeah. Don't go to Las Vegas. No matter what, it's always gonna be too hot out there.
Like, look at this. Look what happens to people's controllers.
Let me see this. Oh yeah, literally just melted the pins.
Just.
Wow. Just pop it right out.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's normal. Don't. Maybe they should put a couple extra fans in the PS. I know they didn't want it to sound like a jet taking off like the PS4. Maybe it should have, is all I'm saying. Maybe we'd be better off.
Yeah. To be fair, they had no way of predicting that, like, something like this could happen.
Sure, of course not.
They're not going to do tests on. We're going to get 500 PS5s in a warehouse with bad
in Las Vegas, where it's the surface of the sun outside. Yeah,
with bad air circulation and run them to see if it works. Like they're not going to.
That's a good point. It's very funny. Oh God.
Speaking of Evo, though, just one final thing is there's a tweet of the crowd after Leffen won.
Everybody looks so mad.
They're so mad.
Nobody is happy with this one, bro.
Yeah.
That's, who care?
Mm-hmm.
But, we're back. After vacation, we're back. Welcome back.
That's it. Well, that was it. So that's it, though. That's all the news we got for this week.
We're getting out of here.
Yeah. Thank you to Broke for Free for your background music. You can follow me on Twitter at thegorgepodcast. You can follow Sara at radioinactivity, and you can email us at thegorgepodcast@gmail.com. And you can join our Discord. We have a Discord.
Hey, we're also now officially on BlueSky. Yay!
Yeah,
we're on
we
BlueSky.
are on BlueSky.
We managed to get BlueSky invites, so if Twitter somehow implodes, which who knows, we're also on BlueSky under the same usernames, of course. So you can find us there, but you should join our Discord. We play Final Fantasy XIV together. We talk about video games pretty in depth. It stays pretty active. It's a good Discord to just kind of hang out in. If you're a patron, then you get a unique role and like a little cutesy icon. So come join our Discord, have some fun, play some video games with us. Sometimes we watch movies together. It's good.
Mm-hmm. All right, that'll do it for us.
Do you got anything? Fuck this heat. Fuck this heat.
Yeah.
So, bro, it is so fucking hot here in Alabama right now. I keep getting like heat advisories every single day on my phone. It's just like, no, it's so hot outside. Don't go out there. And I'm like, you don't have to tell me twice. I promise I will not be out there. I hate it. Because it's not just hot. It's humid here. Guys, it's 70% humidity and 98 degrees outside. And then you look at your phone. It says the heat index is 110 degrees. You're like, I'm really glad I have AC. I'm just going to stay here. Yeah.
That's just underwater, baby.
You're literally breathing soup. So fuck this heat. Don't go to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Good night, everyone.